This is another iRaw podcast.
Instead of running away from rejection like a storm, I am trying to face it head-on like a bison, charging into a storm because the quickest way to overcome something scary is through it. Welcome to Wildly Unplug, sharing stories of nature, conservation, and creativity. Discover what develops when you unplug and step outdoors. Welcome back to week 7 of the Wildly Rejected Challenge, aka Becoming the Bison. My name's Lauren. Welcome to the Wildly Unplugged podcast. If you're new here, the idea behind the challenge is simple. Instead of running away from rejection like a storm, I am trying to face it head-on like a bison, charging into a storm because the quickest way to overcome something scary is through it. The goal, 1,000 rejections, because somewhere hidden inside all the no's, there are yeses, growth, weird stories, and honestly, probably a little bit of character development too. Yeah, definitely some character development. Oh my gosh. There's a little yellow bird and an orange bird fighting. I wonder if I can flip the screen. Oh no, they just flew away. It looked like a finch, and I'm going to have to look up what the other thing was. Man, I need to get better recording outside. So it is currently 57 degrees here in Cincinnati. I fully intended to record outside at the beautiful Cincinnati Nature Center, and I am honestly freezing. It's going to be 90 in a few days. I think it was in the 30s a couple days ago. And so, yeah, welcome to Cincinnati, where we experience all 4 seasons in 1 week. Sometimes in 1 day. So I am staying inside as long as I can. A mockingbird just flew by. I'm staying in the car as long as I can to stay warm because I am on the hunt. That's a bad word. I'm not hunting anything. I'm taking photos. I'm trying to find the blue herons. There is a heronry here at Long Branch at the Nature Center, and I'm hoping to get some babies in the nest, some pictures of that. Maybe I can find some salamanders out on the trail. And yeah, it's always a good time. I found a red ear slider that was nesting in the middle of the trail one time. I sat with that thing for about an hour. That was an incredible experience to watch a turtle laying eggs. So incredible here, but I need to keep my body warmth as long as possible. So long story short, I am recording in the Jeep. So totally just went off on a long tangent. But yeah, if I get pictures of those little birds, I will try and post it in the YouTube video. And if I'm able to look it up what they are, because that was pretty cool to see. See, you can experience nature right from the comforts of your car sometimes. So, what was I saying? Back to the regularly scheduled podcast. This week, I chilled out a little bit. To be honest, I was a little bit hesitant to jump back into the challenge after last week because of all the scams and weirdness surrounding some of these opportunities. Quick recap from last week. I uncovered multiple pay-to-play style art competitions that looked prestigious on the surface and felt very manipulative once you got deeper into them. And I actually have an update on that. So I have more information about the scams from last week. My source gave me some more information saying that other artists in the community regarding the art innovation competition, the one advertising a billboard spot in New York Times Square during Phrase. And that's Frieze. I'm going to have to look up more about what that is. Allegedly, several artists with already established credibility in the art sphere were offered completely free spots. Meanwhile, many emerging artists were sent rejection letters, followed by offers to purchase one of the last remaining spots for anywhere from a couple hundred to thousands of dollars. So allegedly, they're not actually affiliated with Phrase itself. Technically, their wording, Art Innovations wording to my source, they clarified saying, oh my God, it was an indigo bunting. I hardly ever see them. They're so blue. Okay, maybe I shouldn't record my nature podcast out in nature. It's so distracting, but maybe I could do some lives or just get footage and we find what we find together. Okay. What was I saying? Allegedly, they're not actually affiliated with Phrase itself. Technically, in their wording that they clarified to my source, they're exhibiting during Phrase, not with Phrase. So this feels intentionally misleading because they'll assume people associate the two. Now they're also apparently being called New Media Movement instead of Art Innovation mid-campaign, which also feels odd to change the name in the middle of this promotion once they're asking people for money. So the deeper this gets, the fishier this feels. So what artists in the community are noticing that businesses like this allegedly approach artists with already well-established names and credibility and offer them free participation because they need recognizable artists attached to the event. And then those names to market the opportunity to everyone else to get involved. And this really feels like taking advantage of up-and-coming artists or artists that are hoping to be up-and-coming. So, I don't know. Rejection, I feel like it helps you to improve. This just feels like manipulation, and it drains people of time, money, and hope. So speaking of fishy, I have a quick update on the People's Artist Competition. I removed all of my artwork from their website, from my profile page there. And at the time of this recording, I am sitting around 25th place with only a few more hours left to the next round. I believe at this point it's probably like 6 hours or something like that. And once that counter counts down, only the top 20 move on in that group. Here's what nobody seems to know. How many groups are out there? Seriously good question. Nobody seems to know. I have no way of figuring that out. So that also feels strange. At this point, I am honestly just ready for it to end so I can officially clock it as a rejection and move on. I also got rejected by Create Magazine, and this one stung a little bit. I've applied to them about 5 times over the past 5 years, and depending on the feature and the article that you're submitting for, it can cost anywhere between $25 to $50, and that's each time, and you have to fill out all of your information, submit photos each time. It is time consuming, and also it takes money from you. So to their credit, they do notify you when you don't get accepted, which is honestly better than most places out there, but I still stand firm on this. If artists are paying a submission fee when they get rejected, I feel like there should be some form of feedback available. Even a short sentence about what can be improved for next time could go a long way. I do have one more submission left for Create Magazine. It's currently pending to be reviewed later this summer. Then I'm probably moving on. I'm just tired of repeatedly paying without any growth insight attached to it. But I do have a really exciting win this week. Loggerhead Lagoon, which is this week's cover image. It placed second in the Blue Koi gallery for the Earth and Elements competition for the month of May. So what that means is I get to have that picture on their online exhibit all month long. I get a dedicated artist profile page, social media promotion, and they sent me a digital certificate. So that felt pretty good, especially after all the weird scams lately. It does remind me that there are some legitimate opportunities out there. So this week, I don't want to say that I played it safe exactly. I think I pivoted. Think Ross from Friends when they were moving the couch. Pivot! So instead of pouring all my energy into questionable art competitions, I focused more on the podcast and storytelling opportunities. I reached out to several nature podcasts to see if I could be a guest, and I also submitted Finding Frogman documentary to a couple film festivals through Film Freeway, which I trust Film Freeway. I have both won a couple competitions and lost competitions through that website. It feels legitimate, transparent, and straightforward. There's no weird bait and switch. No, congratulations, you've been selected. Now give us thousands of dollars. Just you got in or you didn't get in after a modest fee, which feels acceptable because it's for art festivals where they're showing films at theaters where people go and attend, and they have award ceremonies. It's a whole production. My husband and I got to help with the Loveland Film Festival, and it is a really neat community of people to be involved with. So I respect that. Don't mind paying a small fee. And if you do win, they give you a form to fill out, and you can select if you want to get a physical award, and they cost money depending on the award. It depends on how much it costs. So, but that is up to you, and you still win whether or not you physically get the award. So again, I respect that. I am getting close to 100 total proposals submitted during this challenge, which feels kind of wild. It took me almost 2 months to turn in 100 proposals. The current stats so far: 22 accepted, 18 rejected, 37 in review, 21 still waiting, and so total 98 submitted proposals. I am not even close to being done, not even remotely, because remember, this challenge is not 1,000 submissions, it's 1,000 rejections. So I've got 18 rejections. I got a long way to go still. So weirdly enough, I think I'm finally starting to understand that the real challenge isn't collecting rejections, it's learning discernment. Learning which opportunities are real, learning which no's matter, learning when to keep pushing, and learning when walking away is the best win. So thank you for coming along with me on this wild ride. I'm hoping to inspire you to put yourself out there too. There is a whole big, wonderfully wild world out there just waiting for your creativity and your voice. Until next time, unplug, because I'm about to go outside and find some herons and hopefully some turtles. Get outside, see what develops. Stay wild. Wildly Unplugged podcast is a production of Wild Development Studio. The views, opinions, and statements expressed by individuals during Wild Development Studio's productions do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of Wild Development Studio or its affiliates. Participation in any activities, expeditions, or adventures discussed or promoted during our content may involve inherent risks. It is strongly advised that individuals conduct thorough research, seek professional guidance, and take all necessary precautions before engaging in such activities or venturing into wilderness areas. Wild Development Studio, its representatives, or employees shall not be held responsible for any injury, loss, damage, accident, or unforeseen incident that may occur as a result of participating in activities inspired by or discussed in our content. By choosing to engage with our content or act upon any information provided, individuals do so at their own risk and discretion.
For more great iRaw podcasts, visit irawpod.com. That's IROARPOD.com.